All right. Hey, this week, here's what I did. I just recorded a masterclass. I do a masterclass the third Wednesday of every month, and I thought I would just share it on the podcast. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a podcast. It's how to stop the rate shopping, and I really go into building a process that will, for us and our teams and our business, saved 30% more business. And so I thought it was a great masterclass. Wanted to share it with my audience here on the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast. It's longer than normal. I think it runs maybe around an hour, but just thought it would be a great share. It's going to help you out. The key is this: having a process that asks for commitment and helps you convert more of what you've already got. You're in for a treat, and make sure you stay all the way through to the end. And remember this: if you ever want help with something like this, go to freedomplanningcall.com. We've got resources and tools for you. But here is a portion of the masterclass we did this month. And if you hadn't been attending them, hopefully I'll see you this next month on that masterclass. Enjoy. See you. Okay, hey, here's what I want to do. I'm going to get in and let's just go. People may still trail in, that's good, but I want to go. I want to make a good use of your time, and I want to make sure that we're really doing this. And this whole session is how I close, and it's not theory. I've been in the business 23 years. I'm going to walk through a little bit of my story, but it's how we were able and have been able to keep 30% of the more loans without literally getting more leads. And here's what you're going to learn today. I think this is the biggest challenge. It's like, why did my best clients ghost me at the finish line, and how to stop it? Like, I don't know about you. If anybody's ever got a contract, you thought you had them, and then all of a sudden they start ghosting you and you don't know why. I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to give you the script that helped us go from 64% to 94% conversion. And for us in our world, added an additional $9,000 to $18,000 in monthly revenue. I'm going to show you how to lead with structure instead of personality. And I got to tell you, you're good. You are a great loan officer. You've got great personality. People like you. But where we're going to shift gears is not just likability, but structure that gives confidence. I'm going to show you how to add one question that gains clients' commitment. And the last thing is this: I'm going to see I want you to self-assess and see whether the 8-week boot camp or the MMA coaching tribe's the right fit for you. And you would say, Steve, who's this for? I got to say, I'm so passionate about this. This is why I started the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast. It's why I partnered with Carl at the Marketing Animals. It's why we do the Breakfast Club. We really believe this: you're doing the work, and with a little bit extra, just like one extra tweak. There was a great book by Jim Collins. I don't know if anybody ever read Good to Great. But what I loved about Good to Great is Jim Collins really demystified. Everybody thought, if I make these big tweaks and I change 22 different things. And what we learned was this: if you just make small adjustments, minor tweaks, you'll see massive results in your business. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to make a really easy, really small tweak, or at least give you the information to do that. Who is this for? You want consistency, not more chaos. This industry was built on chaos. We got to remove that. You don't want to sell harder. I don't know about y'all, but I hate hard selling. I'm not a hard salesman. I'm a process salesman. And what that means is my process allows me to ask for the business, ask for commitment in such a cool way that I'm able to lead the client better, which means we simply have a higher conversion. Hey, and look, I'll give you this too. For any of our branch managers, I'm a managing partner and half owner of Pro Lending Mortgage. And I got to tell you this: I know for our team, there's two things we focus on: reduce concessions and increase conversion. You want to be wildly profitable, increase your conversion, reduce concessions, and your teams will be wildly profitable. And here's the last thing. A lot of you are here, and I've heard it from so many great loan officers across the country. How do I simply stop the rate shopping? Now, before we get into the training, I want everybody to do one thing for me. I want you to self-assess. You're here, and I appreciate everybody's transparency. Whenever I was asking, how's your business right now? And one of the things we do at the Mortgage Marketing Animals is we really have a growth plan. And everybody we find falls in one of five categories. And I'd love to know where you feel like you're falling in your business or where you're settled in your business right now. Survival mode. Many of you have walked on the call today, and it's like, you know what? I'm closing zero loans last month, but I got three in my pipeline this month. One loan this month, I got four in my pipeline. And and that's where it's devastating, especially about what we're going to talk about today. If you're losing one out of four to rate shoppers, two out of four to rate shoppers, it's devastating. It's less devastating when you lose two and you've got 15 in your pipeline. But so many are in survival mode and it's completely reactive. It's like just from one thing to the next thing, there's inconsistency, and you're closing about zero to four loans. And what we want to do, and part of today's training is strategic because it's going to help you start stabilizing and building structure and scale. And it doesn't matter where you're at because this little process will work whether you do it or a team member does it. It's going to help you in consistently keeping more of the business you already have. But look, some of you are unstabilized. I'd love for you to drop in the chat. Where are you at? Self-identify. You're closing 4 to 8 loans a month. You're working on a process to prospect, which means consistency. You're getting help out of the busy work. Some of you are at structure, and it's like, I've got several of the people in the boot camp that I'm running right now, my 8-week boot camp. It's like they're in that, like I'm thinking about one who's doing literally 2 loans every single week he's putting into his pipeline. And guess what? He's building the structure of 8 to 10. And it's consistently starting to come. And that structure phase is 8 to 18 closings a month. And it's a process for daily tasks. It means Monday, I know what to do. Tuesday, I know what to do. Wednesday, I know what to do. Thursday, my team knows what to do. I do effective morning huddles. I delegate out tasks. I focus on prospect and high dollar activities. The fourth one is scale. And some of you are here, you're in scaling mode. And it's like, you know what? I'm already closing 18, 20, 22 loans a month. And so my team is doing the right activities and I've built a predictable income. And the truth is we all want to get to legacy, and that's where the beauty starts happening. The business runs without you being in the middle. So drop in there. Where are you at? So Thessie, I see you at survival mode. Structure, I see Donna. Stabilize, I love that, man. Jim, this is going to help you. Structure, Ryan, survive, stabilize, survive. A lot of survival mode. I'm glad you're here because I'm going to help you with it. So, hey, how many of you, let me do one thing. Carl and I we travel the country and we get the opportunity to be in front of a lot of loan officers, and we get to ask this question: how many of you here am I meeting for the first time? It's like, hey, Steve, I saw an advertisement. I saw something. I'm here for the first time. Drop in the chat. Am I meeting you here for the first time? Because I'd love to just tell you a little bit. I'm going to give you some background. All right, Paula, great to meet you for the first time. I wish I could shake your hand or hug your neck. Dan, great to meet you. Robert. All right, how many of you guys, you're like, hey, I know you, Steve. You've been around. And some of you have been a part of the coaching and a part of the boot camps. First timer, Corin, great to have you. Rita, great to have you. Listen to your podcast. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. We work hard. Oh, look at that. Eddie Skinner, my dear friend from the Woodlands in Montgomery County. My dear friend. Come on, Nick. What's up, Nick? Nicholas. Okay, cool. Hey, well, let me do this real quick. For my first timers, let me just tell you, just real quickly, my background. I got in the business in 2002. Got licensed in 2003, and I remember it was a challenge. Like, we were in the middle of a refi boom. Anybody in the business back then? I didn't know we were in a refi boom. It was a challenge, man. I closed like 8 loans my first year, and there was no real plan. It wasn't like if you go, like we know right now, the power of if you'll do 1 or 2 different things, you can literally scale your business in 90 days. Well, this training wasn't out there. There wasn't data and facts. And man, I got to tell you, I was 25 years old. I was dead broke. I had a real estate business that had just failed. We owed the bank a ton of money, and we had 4 houses in foreclosure. And I'll never forget, my wife and I was really struggling. I was disappointed. I was disillusioned. We had a business partner that walked out on a ton of money, and I just made a decision. I'm going to pay everybody back. And I remember my wife and I, newly married, we're walking across Greens Bayou. Any people know about Houston? There's a lot of apartment complexes over there. And I was just praying and I was asking God, God, what do I do with the rest of my life? And it wasn't, I'll never forget. I want to make a difference. I want to help people. I want to do something that I can apply my hands to and make an impact. And I'll never forget, God dropped in my heart mortgages. And the funny thing is this, Herb, I didn't even know, just to be candid, I always joke, I'm a great salesman. I'm a terrible speller. And I was like, I didn't even know mortgage had two G's. Like, where'd that, like, oh, mortgage. Okay. I so it was always a funny joke, but then I pursued somebody and 90 days later joined a guy and he let me sit on his floor for the first 6 months. And I know it was crazy. He didn't even have a desk. I'd wait tables in the evening. I'd try to originate loans in the morning. And it took me that first year of waiting tables at night, paying, focusing on paying back the debt, trying to get into the business. I didn't grow up from much. I came from very humble beginnings. My dad, I thought we were middle class, later found out in life that we actually qualified for food stamps. He was a restaurant manager, just didn't make much money, but worked really hard. And I knew I wanted to do something that made a difference and could provide financial freedom. And then fast forward to 2011, I realized I was capped out, at the amount of volume I was doing and wanted to do more. So I sought out coaching, sought out Masterminds, and it took me 18 years to break $100 million in personal production. I spent 4 or 5 years stuck at 36, 35, 34, 37 million, 36 million, and finally 18 years in broke 100 million. And then in 2021, I started over from scratch because of some things that happened. I made a transition, had a heavy non-compete, and then listen to this, in 2.5 years, because of process, system, and structure. The first 18 years was grit and hard work, broke 100 million. In the next 2.5 years, broke $100 million from starting over, and really understood that there's a process to prospecting. There's a process to who we call. There's a process to how you ask for the business. And so what I've been passionate about, since we launched the podcast, since I partnered with Carl, since we really focus on helping coach loan officers and teams and groups at mortgage companies, is now how to help you scale. And some of you, your goal is to fund 20 million. Some of it's 30 million. Some it's 50, 60, 75, 100. And let me tell you this, you can do it. And what I used to think was it was more hours meant more closings. And what we realized is, no, it's simple process and identifying a team. And so today we're going to focus on the process side of it. And I really am excited because this is probably the number one thing that transformed my business, because not only could I do it, but then later hired a loan officer to sit inside of my team and actually do this on my behalf. And the conversion was exactly the same. And I had Danelle do it, and I had Sabrina do it, and I had Mike do it. And it's like, it didn't matter. The process works regardless of the personality. So we're going to dive into it. And I'll tell you this, the real problem is this. I don't know about you guys, but the problem for me was we were like, if I looked at 10 transactions that came in, and what I mean by 10 transactions, these aren't pre-approved buyers, but a buyer I've been working with, following up with, they send me a contract. What we found was out of 10, we literally would get to a point where we might lose as many as 3 to 4 out of 10. And for those of you who know me or follow the podcast, like, what I'm known for is my ability to script. Like, I got great scripting, I got great structure. But I'll tell you this, 7 years ago is whenever I really uncovered this, was we were losing. If you don't track the numbers, then you can't manage the progress. And so what I was doing was tracking the numbers, and I'm saying, listen, out of 10 contracts, I got 4 out of 10 are shopping me. And not only shopping me, but I'm not keeping them all. Some months I'd lose 4 out of 10. Some months I'd only lose 2 out of 10. But what we realized was, this is a real problem. And it meant for me and my team, we were losing as much as $9,000 to $18,000 a month in lost commissions. Anybody relate? Anybody lost a loan, say, in the last 30 days? April, I'm with you. I know it. And it's devastating, because what we don't realize is that if if we see a problem, and listen, it's not your fault. It's part of what we'll help you with on the coaching. If you're not tracking your metrics, you don't even know there's a hole in your ship. And whenever I really started tracking them and I'm realizing, golly, 4 out of 10 are shopping me. A bad month, I lose all four. The rates went up, I lost all four. If the rates were coming down, I got the bottom side of it. I kept 2 out of the 4, but I'm still losing a ton. And here's what we realized was this. I wasn't asking for commitment. I was assuming, hey, let me ask you this. I was talking to a good friend of mine last week, and he said, dude, Steve, I just got a contract in. And I said, well, awesome, man. He said, yeah, the problem is I hadn't talked to this client in like 2.5 weeks. I should have followed up last week. We had 4th of July the week before. Last week I was catching up. I hadn't talked to him in a couple of weeks. And listen to this. He said, the agent sent me the contract and he said, I hope they're still going to use me. Anybody ever have that? It's like, I think I'm their lender, but I hadn't really followed up. And so assuming that they're still working with you, I know I've had that. And yeah, Faye, I saw that you said you lost one yesterday. Man, I'm going to help you with this. This is a big one. And if it happens to you, it doesn't mean you're bad at sales. You know what see, we tend to say, oh, what's wrong with me? I'm terrible. And me too. I have a habit of doing that. But what I've realized is, hey, listen, I'm a great salesman. I got great processes. If I'm missing it, there's nothing wrong with me. It means I just need to add a process that allows me to fix this, because if I've got to have personality to win, that's a hard place to be. I want a key step that gives it to me. Hey, and I'll never forget this. I had a client, and this was about 7 years ago. My son, Ethan's 13. He was 6 at the time. And I'll never forget this. Let me see here. And I'll never forget this. I was at a place where I had a great referral partner, and I'm in the Houston market. So he was at Home Smart Properties, great referral partner, loved him, loved working with him. He calls me in a panic and he says, and y'all tell me if you relate to this. He said, Steve, I got a great client. I know they're not pre-approved. I was going to send them to you. They already found a house. They want to make an offer. And it's highest and best offer tonight by 6 p.m. And y'all, this was like 3 or 4, maybe 2:30, 3, 4, late after. I mean, not late, but mid-afternoon. And of course, what did everybody say? So I'm like, of course, send me their info, give me the name, tell them they've got to complete the app, upload documents, and we will absolutely move quickly. And of course, guys, we don't want that as chaos, but we'll take it as it comes. So call the client, and fantastic credit scores. But listen to this, y'all. She had 4K1s, and she had assets moving everywhere. And it was super complicated, and it was a great loan amount, and it was a well-qualified buyer. But this was not a W-2, 4-year job history, $1 million in the bank, great credit score, right? That would have been nice. This was super complicated. Like, guys, we need 3 to 5 days, right? And probably not that many, but at least a couple days. And so my team, I wrecked my team. I remember Danelle and Sabrina and everybody, and they're like, oh my gosh. I said, guys, we got to stop everything we're doing, make it a priority. He's one of our best referral partners, is a great client. We'll do what it takes. And we felt confident enough by 5:30, 6 o'clock to get them the approval. So we get them the approval. They make the offer. We slide in, and guess what happens, y'all? They didn't win the deal. No big deal, right? We just wrecked our team. No big deal. Slows things down. And what I remember is over the weekend, Ethan was playing soccer, and all of a sudden around 9:30, 10 a.m., his games were always 10 to 11. And 9:30, 10 o'clock, my phone starts blowing up, and it's like, oh my gosh, we found a property, highest and best use, got to have it by noon. So what do I do as a good loan officer who wants to win the deal, earn their trust? Because they know what I'm doing, right? I'm at my son's soccer game, but I'm literally going to stop everything, work on the pre-approval, call them, update the numbers, run the pre-approval, get it over to them, put the documents together. And here's the kicker. I knew the listing agent, a dear friend of mine. We've worked together for now 23 years. Back then it was 15 years, like one of my great, like somebody I've done a lot of business with. And I call him and I say, hey, we're wanting to make an offer. Here's what we're going to make. And I said, what would it take to win the deal? And he said, the key for us is a 21-day close. Anybody remember when that was really hard to do? Like that was, you were a killer if you could do a 21-day close. Now I know we're all doing them in 10, 14 days. But we could do it. And so here's what I found out on Monday. We won the deal. Now, here's the challenge. Uh, I frustrated my wife. I disappointed my son, Ethan. My wife almost made me sleep on the couch. Like anybody ever done that? Like I got the cold shoulder for a couple of days because it was a big deal to be engaged with my son's game. And here I am trying to win the deal because if I put in the extra work, guess what they were going to do? They wouldn't shop me. They'd know what I did, right? So I get the contract. I call the client and Herb, listen to this, my man. Walt, you won't believe it. Robert, here's what I did. I called the buyer and I said what everybody would say, Chris. I mean, you and I, we talked about this yesterday. I literally called the client and I said, hey, Roger, man, so glad to be working with you. Thrilled about the contract. We've only got 21 days. So, Margot, here's what we're going to have to do. We got to move quickly. So, we're going to tighten everything up this morning. We're going to get you locked in this afternoon. I'm going to get the appraisal money. We're going to start running. And you know what they said, Margot? You and I both had this happen. It's like, hey, Steve, man, first off, anybody? Here it comes, Mark. Josh, here it comes. Paula, hey, listen, Steve, I really appreciate all the work you've done. Man, it just really appreciate. We couldn't have done it without you. Hey, but Tom, I'm going to have to shop this around before I lock it in. You understand, right? Whew. Anybody ever have that? Did you just feel that in the pit of your stomach? Like, I know, right there. Yeah, drop it in the chat, right? I know it, Denise. It's crazy. Walt, how are you last week? And it's like, that's really where my phrase, I want to get better, not bitter, came in, was because it's like, you got, oh my gosh, Greg said it gives me PTSD. Amen. Yes. And here's the thing with that people don't realize is, whenever I started doing this, I'm like, it's a trick. This is a trick question, everybody. Why? Y'all know why? If I say, no, I don't understand, you can't shop. Do you have any idea what I did? Do you have any idea that your bank wouldn't have worked during the weekend to help you win that deal? Do you have any idea how complicated it was to close a 21-day close? Or you have any idea that any other lender who literally, I found out that the offer they made was not the highest and best offer. They took the offer because my old friend, the listing agent, knew we could close it in 21 days and the days was more important than the highest price. Do they know that? But here's the catch. It didn't matter. She said, I'm going to shop around. You understand, right? So I can say no, and she'll ghost me. Or I can say, hey, listen, totally get it. Let's do this. I would encourage you to move quickly. When you get your best offer, send it over. If I can meet or beat it, I'll either tell you it's the best I've ever seen or here's what we can do. And guys, let me tell you what happened. She ended up going with her bank for an 1/8 lower in rate. And I'll never forget the devastation on that one. And why this one hit me so hard, I think it was because it helped me find a process that eliminated that and empowered me as a loan officer to start being able to make the moves. See, the problem before this process was I was being reactive and I wasn't in control. The client was. And what I'm going to show you today is how you can be in control. And listen, if they don't commit, you just say, hey, listen, fantastic. You don't have to commit, but the resources of my office stop today. I'm in control. And here's what some of the things that I really felt like, when you're doing this assumption, clients did what I found out. Oh, and by the way, let me tell you this. I went home that afternoon and I talked to my wife, Stephanie, amazing wife. We've been married 23 years. And I went home and I said, hey, babe, let me tell you what happened. I'm super disappointed. And I laid it all out. And I said, listen, knowing what you know, you would have chosen to work with me as your loan officer, right? Like this good looking fellow that you're married to, you would have used me. And you know what she said? It stopped me in my tracks. April, she told me this. She said, Steve, I appreciate what you did, but you assumed I was working with you. If you would have, and this was her exact words, if you would have asked for commitment, then at least I would have had a choice. Now I feel like I'm backed into a corner and I got to use you because of things I didn't even know you were doing for me. And that was when the light bulbs went off because it was like, she said, if I would have committed, even if you were an 1/8 higher in rate, I would have worked with you. I would have done what I said I was going to do. The problem is you assumed. And I wonder how many of us are assuming clients are working with us because it's like, I got the good vibe. We had great, built great rapport. That's why I got to have a great first phone call. Well, you don't have to have a first great phone call. You got to have a process that asks for commitment, and then you know exactly where you stand. And here's what I also found out, and I'm going to walk you through this as well. Clients didn't know we were paid hourly. They think, let me just help everybody out. They think, Valerie, that you're just like a bank teller and you're paid an hourly wage regardless of whether you close a loan. They didn't know that we're not compensated unless we go all the way through to closing. The clients didn't know the importance of working with the right lender. Hey, do you know this? In April, I keep calling on you because I see you, but do you know this, April? They didn't know that if I hadn't have called the listing agent, that we didn't have the highest sales price. They only took the deal because of me, the loan officer. They knew me. And they knew we could close it in 21 days. And so when clients don't know that, they don't understand the value of what you're providing. Here was the other thing too. I wasn't giving my clients a clear next step, and I didn't ask for commitment. And I lost to the rate shopper who said, I'm going to have to shop around. So here's what we discovered. And listen, this has been a process. It took me probably 6 months to really build it, and the next 6.5 years to just continue to refine it. And I got to tell you, it works whether you're a broker, whether you're a banker, whether you're a big market, small market, East Coast, West Coast, doctors, lawyers, attorneys, Walmart workers. It doesn't matter the caliber of person. This absolutely works. Doesn't matter sales price, doesn't matter loan type. But my lack of process actually created a feeling in my clients to make them feel like, hey, I got to go shop around. And here's what we began to do. I am a very good relational person. But what I realized was this: relationship's not enough. It's got to be process-based selling. See, relationships are good as long as I'm the one doing it. And they'll carry me most of the time through, but process-based selling will actually help me win more deals. And look, anybody know the DISC assessment? I love the DISC assessment. It's something I've studied for a long time. I'm a big fan of it. I know there's a whole bunch of others, the Myers-Briggs, there's all these others, Enneagrams and all that. But I like the DISC. I think it's real simple. Everybody falls in one of these 4 quadrants. And it's not something to pigeonhole yourself in, but it is something that makes you aware of why people behave the way they behave. So look, what this, and I'm just going to give you a quick crash course on it. It's DISC, stands for DISC, or the acronym's DISC. And when you look at a D, here's what's interesting. 10% of the population, and listen, it may be 10, 12%. The numbers have moved, but they're about 10% of the population is a high D. And a high D, like my wife, she's a 99D, 99C. And that is they drive, just drive to the D. All they have is one button, drive. Drive to the destination. They are results driven, determined, direct. There's not a lot of filter. It's drive. Now, here's what's interesting. 15% of the population is what you would call a high I. I'm a high ID. And a high I is somebody who's enthusiastic, outgoing, persuasive. Like literally, you never met a stranger. Anybody, most of you are high I's, high D's, some C's, some S's. But it's like 15% of the population's a high I. But here's what's remarkable. And this is what I think is powerful. 60% of clients, 60% of people fall in the high S. Now, listen to this. I did some research late last year, and it does change. But do you know, Jen, past COVID, post-COVID, they think that it is actually shifted to closer to 70% of the population is a high S. And a high S is, hey, listen, I think I may have done that out of order. It's I, 15%'s I. You've got about 10% is 10 to 15% is a high C, but listen, a high S, here's the interesting thing about the high S's. The number one thing a high S wants is lead. And this would be great to write down if y'all brought a pen and piece of paper. Lead me well. Our friend Alex Kutsichin he was with Sales Boomerang Trust Engine, did a huge study like 2 years ago. And when they did it, he was telling me about just the results of it was staggering. Like 78% of mortgage customers, listen to this, 78% of mortgage customers, they use the very first loan officer they speak with. And 92% of mortgage clients use either the first or the second. And that survey falls right in line with the disc, because you know what I think it means? If you at least lead them well, you've got a 78% chance of keeping the client and them closing with you. The challenge is, and listen, you'll get some of the D's, you'll get C's, and you'll get the I's. But I think the majority of that has to do with people that just want to be led well. They want structure. They want to make sure that there is a process and that they can trust the process, not pressure. And what you'll find is when you lead people well, guess what they do? They take your clear next steps. So I'm going to give you some scripting words that, like, one of the phrases I would incorporate in your vocabulary is clear next step. Another one is a clear mortgage plan. I intentionally say those words because I've realized that a high S, the more I say things that create stability and structure and calmness and process, you know what their brain is saying? Not because they even know it, but because it's the makeup of who they are. It's like, wow, this guy's got a great process. This lady's got a great process, and they can trust it. And listen, here's the other thing too. You can't lead if you're afraid of a no. A lot of times people don't want to ask for commitment because what if they say, I'm not willing to work with you? And that's something that when you have a process, you'll get past it, because here's what I'd rather know. I'd rather know whether you're committed to working with me or not. And I want to know before I end up spending $150 on a credit report, before I spend hours on the file, before I set it up, I run AUS. I want to know, are you committed to working with me? So here's the script, everybody. And I want everybody to say it with me. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? Everybody say that with me. Is there anything? And I know it's weird, I can't hear you, but I promise you I can see you. So, hey, Tom, is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? That's the one script. And I got to tell you this, I don't know, it's been so long, I don't know if I came up with it, if I heard somebody say it, or if I morphed it from something else. I wish I could either give credit or take credit, but I genuinely don't know. This is what it's been. And this is where, part of it is, hey, Roger, is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? So that is the question. I want everybody to say it one more time. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? That's the one script that literally helped us close 3 out of 4 of the files we would potentially lose, and continues to this day to do the same thing. And so here's what it is. The script is really simple, but I'll tell you, when you do something that's uncomfortable, you got to get familiar with it. It's like, okay, I just got to take the script, say it over and over again till I get comfortable. The first few times I say it, it's going to be weird. It's going to be uncomfortable. But here's the deal, Steve. I hear you. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? But where do I put it? Like Sarah, I think that's a big one. It's like, okay, do I put it at the front of the loan consultation, the middle of the loan consultation, the back of the loan consultation? Let me tell you one thing that I would do. First off, and this is just from years and years and years of doing these, I used to call it my loan options. Hey, let's jump on a call and I'm going to walk you through options. What I found was this. Options was cool, but it felt like everybody else. Let me ask you, anybody, like, Scott, do you ever go to, like when you go to your doctor, or you go to a financial planner, or you go to an attorney, or you go to somebody of stature, are you just running up options? Or are you doing a consultation? You're doing a consultation, right? Like when I met with my cardiologist the other day, I talked to his nurses, I ran through the front desk, but I had a consultation to check on my health. And what I realized was this: we have to elevate what this is, because your words will elevate the experience your client is having. So I used to say, hey, we'll jump on a 15-minute call, and Eddie, we're going to run through some loan options. But what I felt like is there wasn't a weightiness to that time. So now what I say is, hey, Eddie, I'm excited to work with you. And I'm so excited to work with you. And here's what we're going to do. We have a very simple process, and I'm going to help you build a clear mortgage plan. And so, what we're going to do first is we're going to walk through the application, and then I'm going to schedule your 30-minute loan consultation. And in that 30-minute loan consultation, I'm going to help answer your sales price, monthly payment, cash to close, and all the questions that you have to make sure that we set you up to have the local competitive advantage in today's environment. And I hope y'all hear all of those strategic words. And you're like, Steve, that's a lot. Yes, but inside the marketing animals, I'd literally go through all this training. I give every word to you. But here's what I want you to know is if you're saying options instead of a loan consultation, you're missing an opportunity to elevate the client's experience. Good stuff? When I say good stuff, you say great stuff, even though I can't hear you. Good stuff? All right. Hey there, if you're loving the tips so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss out on more cool free tips coming your way. I'd also love to hear from you. Make sure to drop a comment below and let me know what you think, or what it is you want to see next. And we'll see you on the inside. See you. Moving on. So let's do this. Okay, Steve, I hear you. And I want everybody to say it with me one more time. Here's what I want you to say. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? Now, Steve, where do we put it? And I'll tell you one other quick thing as well. Man, I hope you're getting all these nuggets. I used to say, hey, I'm going to schedule your loan consultation. And you know what would happen, Michael? Paula, what would happen is the first question they'd ask me, you know what it'd be, Jeff? How long's this loan consultation? And what I learned was this is a great nugget. Whoever says it first wins. So what I started doing, Nick, was I went in and I just started saying, hey, in our 30-minute loan consultation, and listen, somebody may say, well, Steve, that's dumb. I don't know why you say it. I'll tell you what I found. When you're meeting with a doctor, I have a doctor right now we're working with right now, and she's super busy. And whenever I said, hey, Danielle, in our 30-minute loan consultation, what we're going to do is help you build a clear mortgage plan. I could watch the anxiety lessen because she wasn't nervous about how much time. Her time is money. And what I'll tell you is most of the time you don't even need 30 minutes, but even in verbalizing the expectation of time, you're diffusing the anxiety of how long is it going to last. Now, I got a question for everybody. Drop it in the chat. Here, you're going to win bonus points. What do they win? I don't know. We'll give you a badge or something. What are the questions a client asks in a 30-minute loan consultation? Somebody asks, what do they want to know? What are the things they want to know? Drop it in the chat. Let's see it. This is your, if we were in front of each other, I'd ask you to holler it out, but we're not. So drop it in there. Okay. I love it. There we go. Woo, Mark, what's your rate? Did anybody get nervous when it's like, rate? I'll tell you a funny story. And I know we got 18 minutes. We'll get there. I used to be so terrified till I finally understood. Everybody's going, not everybody, but rate is an answer I got to have. I see what's the rate? What am I qualified for? Rate, payment, closing costs, monthly payment. Listen, what do I qualify for? Look, that's it. Everybody's got it. And you know what's so cool? There's not 10 things they ask for. There's only 4. You ready? And I'm going to give them to you. Here's what they want to know. And everybody can attest. How much home can I buy? Everybody agree? And listen, when you're building a process, I used to say, hey, how much is it going to cost me per month? What kind of cash is it going to take to buy the house? Look, I'll give them to you. How much will it cost each month? How much money do I need? Answer any questions. And listen, not everybody asks about rate. You think they do, but I would venture to say if you don't bring up rate, 40 to 50%, that's what we see. Don't even ask about rate. It's not as important as you think. It's only important because you highlight it. A buddy of mine, Josh, who's been a friend for 15 years, told me one time, he said, Steve, if you stop telling them rates, you'll be blown away with how few people ask. And I was like, dude, you can't do it. You can't. And at that time I was like, you can't run options and not talk rate. He said, try it. And I'm telling you, he is spot on. 40 to 50% of the people, you know, all they want to know, how much house can I buy? What's it going to cost me every month? And how much money do I need? And listen, I used to go in and say, well, hey, we're going to get on this 30-minute loan consultation. Watch the order. Hey, before we get into this, what questions can I answer for you? Hey, how much money are you wanting to spend per month? Realize I'm out of order. How much money do you need to go to closing, and how much house can you buy? A process is this right here, the same way every time. And I got to tell you this, Some of you are struggling because when we get on these calls, there's no process to that call. Literally in my loan consultations on the calendar, it literally has these four things sitting right next to it, and you run the same order. All right, hey Brad, so excited to be on this 30-minute loan consultation. I'll just verbally throw it out to you. I love Oscar Hernandez, one of our best agents. I got to tell you, you're in great hands with him. I always validate the client, the agent. Hey, if I were buying, absolutely who I would use. And so excited to have a 30-minute loan consultation. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through what I find people want to know is how much house can I buy? So I'm going to walk you through the sales price where we want to target. The next question is most people ask how much home or how much will it cost me every month to buy that house? And that's what we call monthly payment. I'm going to walk you through monthly payment. And the next one is how much money do I need to go to closing? And that's what we call cash to close. And so I'm going to walk you through sales price. See, I took their language and flipped it to mine. Sales price, monthly payment, cash to close. And hey, listen, Mr. Buyer, what other questions do you have that I can answer before we get off this 30-minute loan consultation? And listen to this, y'all, so that you'll tell Oscar Hernandez that I took great care of you. And guys, what are the 3 or 4 questions they're going to ask? There's only 3 or 4. What's your rate? So I write it down. What is, talk to me about prepaid items or escrows. What is that? And what happens if an appraisal comes in low? And I don't know. There's not many other questions. Anybody have other questions they ask? It's really about those 3 or 4. And what I used to do was start answering them as they gave them to me. But here's a real pro tip. I write them down and I repeat it to it. And I'll say, hey, Brad, so you want to know about rate? Here's the great news. When we work through this, I'm going to walk you, everybody write this phrase down. I'm going to walk you through the rate range. And here's what's cool about the rate range. Listen, on the rate range, what we're going to do is the markets move every day, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to help you better understand it. Okay, what was your next question? You said escrows. Awesome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help explain the taxes, insurance, how they're paid, and what that looks like. And the last one you asked was the appraisal. What if it comes in low? And I'll answer that for you as well. And what I did was on my notepad, I literally wrote the questions down, but used to, I'd go off on a rabbit trail and then I lost the whole consultation. But what I do is I reiterate the questions the way I would say them, not rate range. And then I go back and say, all right, well, let's get started. So when we're looking at homes, let me ask you this. What's the amount of home you've been looking at? What's the sales price range you've been looking at? And I start at sales price range, monthly payment, cash to close. And then we literally, oftentimes I'll say, what properties are you looking at on the MLS? Let's just pull one up and use it as an example. And then I just walk through it till they're literally like, all right, I got it. And then I say, okay, did I answer sales price, monthly payment, cash to close? Yeah. All right, well, now let's get to the rate range. So based on today's market, here's what most people don't know. Rates change every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And so what we do is we look at a range of where the market's fluctuating, and then I explain that. Then I explain escrows, and then I explain the appraisal. And then at the end, that's where I say, hey, listen, Brad, have I answered all of our questions? You know what Brad will tell me? Yeah, bro, it's been great. Hey, Brad, listen, one of the things, can I ask you a quick question before we get off this call? Would you mind if I ask you a quick question? Hey, is there anything at this point that would prevent me from being your lender? Mic drop. That's it. And listen, what are the 2 things he can say? Anybody? Drop it in the chat. Hey, so listen, I went through my verbiage is monthly payment, sales price, monthly payment, cash to close, answer questions, ask for commitment. And I love that, Betsy. Here's what's really cool. At the end, hey, Brad, hey, Betsy, would you mind if can I ask you a quick question? Oh, sure, Steve. And here's what they'll say. Oh, it's been a great, man, you've answered all these questions. Hey, let me ask you this, Betsy. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? And I'll tell you this, most people say, no, man, you've done a great job. Why? Your process answered all their questions. And that's where, but I'll tell you this, your high C's, engineers, anybody work with an engineer? I need 22 different options, 14 different ways, and I'm going to shop 45 lenders. You're not likely to win that person, and that's okay. But here's the question. Is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? And they say, yeah, Steve, I'm going to have to. What are Tell me this. What are the three or four top buyer objections? Somebody drop them in the chat. What are they going to say? Come on, somebody, drop them in the chat. I'm not. There we go. What are they? Hey, I got to talk to my spouse. You know what that tells me is I didn't have the decision maker on that call. Always try to get the decision maker on the call or schedule another one. Family member is an LO. Good. Hey, Mike, if a family member's an LO, listen, man, we'd love to. You know what I'd say? Hey, a family member's an LO, Mike. May I ask why you scheduled in for a loan consultation with me? Want to find out if there's a reason they may or may not trust them. Closing costs, shopping around. Hey, I'm going to give you. Let me tell you some. Here's what you'll typically find. Hey, Steve, man, I'd love to work with you. Just like that lady in 7 years ago, it was like, hey, I'd love to work with you, but I'm still shopping around. What do you say? Somebody drop in the chat. What do you say? Man, I'm still shopping around. What do I say to that? Here's the next one. Your rate seems high. Golly. Hey, well, Steve, how many of y'all a month ago when the rates were in the mid sixes, low sevens, like your rate sounds high. Right now we can touch high fives, low sixes, but it's like your rate sounds high. What do you say? I love that. Some of these I love it, Mark. I see that. Here's another one you'll get. There's only about five. Hey, I'm looking for the lowest rate. What do you say? The next one, my agent told me, oh, I hate this one, but at least I know. My agent told me to call three different names. Anybody ever get that? There's certain agencies that say, we require you to call three names. It's not required. What do you say? And then here's one I hear oftentimes, hey, I just don't want my credit pulled. It might hurt my scores. And that's one you'll hear a little bit earlier in the process. But like when I think about the top five objections, this is what you're gonna like. Hey, you're shopping around. How do I overcome it? Let me do this. The thing that we've got to realize in when we're building a same way every time process, personality doesn't scale, process does. It doesn't matter who delivers it. It's the structure it works. It builds trust, gains confidence. And if you're not asking, you're going to see, I guarantee you, if you go back and track how many deals either shop you at the end or you lose, it's going to be about 40% of your deals. Whether you're closing 2 a month, or you're closing 20 a month, without a process, they're going to shop you. It's massive waste. There's an emotional cost and burnout, and you're doing 90% of the work, but not getting the results. So let me share with you something that I think is super powerful. And some of you are part of the Breakfast Club. Hey, and by the way, before I do one thing, let me do this. I'm going to just tell you, I know we got 9 minutes. We may run a few minutes over. So if you get a chance to bump your next meeting, do it. I promise it'll be worth it. But for those of you who say, hey, Steve, I hear those five. What do I'm shopping around. I want the lowest rate. My realtor told me to talk to three different names. Like, we've got the top five buyer objections. If you're currently a member of the Mortgage Marketing Animals, send an email to support at the Marketing Animals. We'll give them to you. And I just wrote out this week how to handle the five most common buyer objections with confidence and clarity. And if you schedule your strategy call and you go to the strategy call, we're going to give it to you. And so before I finish up, anybody who says, hey, I need help with this, I want to structure my loan consultation. I want the top five buyer objections. And I'll tell you what's cool too. In this section, I actually have the top five realtor objections as well and how to overcome them. And we'll give it to you. And so book your call, jump at the front of the line. There's only 25 spots we have open. And once you do, just hit in the chat, Steve, I booked my call. Everybody good with that? Now, let me tell you a little bit about, and for our members, send a note to support at the Marketing Animals. We'll get it to you immediately. We want to pull you to the front of the line, especially the new resource. I just wrote this last week for you. Hey, let me do one thing real quick. What I think is so important is, here's something. Anybody ever been to a department store? Anybody? Stay with me, everybody. Hey, I promise you, this right here is something we go into great detail in the 8-week boot camp on how to overcome the objections, and the results we're seeing are amazing. But listen, hey, Herb, unmute yourself. If you walk into a department store, let's say anybody walk into Nordstrom's or Saks, anybody do that? Herb, I see Herb Levin. Unmute yourself. You walk in, and I'm an attendant at the store. And listen, this will change everything for you, your whole perspective about how to overcome objections. I'm working the store, and you walk in, and I say, hey, good afternoon. Thank you for coming in. Can I help you find something? What do you say?
Normally just looking.
How many, drop in the chat, how many of you think almost 99% of people say, hey, thank you so much. I'm just looking. Everybody? Very rarely, unless you walk in and so, yep, I see it. Everybody's like, yep, me too. So, what is the attendant's typical response, Herb?
Let me know if I can help you.
Awesome. And how well does that work for them?
Not well.
Okay. So listen, here's the whole master plan behind objections and the rebuttals that get somebody to take a next step. So Herb, we walk in. Now listen, I've never in my entire life, I'm 48 years old, ever heard an attendant say something different. But I could tell you what I would say, knowing what I know about objections and how to overcome them, is this, Herb. You walk in and I say, hey, Herb, I don't even know your name, but I say, hey, it's great to have you today. Can I help you find something? You tell me.
Just looking.
Sure. Hey, Herb, are you looking for hats or shoes?
I'm looking for shoes.
See, and let me just pause here. Half of the people, you know what they tell me, Herb? I'm just looking. Awesome. I won't convert those people and I just keep moving. That's why you got to ask for commitment. I'm not going to convert them anyway. They're going to shop and find the worst lender in the world. But half of them are going to say, hey, you just said I'm looking for shoes. But you know, there might be another 1/4%. You know what they might say? No, I'm not looking for either. I'm looking for a shirt. And your whole point is that I asked one additional question. It didn't even matter how I asked. It mattered that when I asked, it caused you to take another step. And then whenever I say, hey, you're looking at hats, awesome. Herb, would you mind if I walk you to the hat department? Guess what? 50% are going to say, no, I'm just looking. The other 50% are going to say, what? Sure, walk me to the hat department. Then we get to the hat department. Guess what happens, Herb? What's the likelihood of finding a hat? 50%? So even though I walk them through the doors, it doesn't mean I win everybody. It just means more of what I didn't otherwise earn, keep more of what I otherwise would have lost. And so part of what we want to give you on that strategy call, and Jen, drop it in the chat at freedomplanningcall.com. You'll put your first name, last name, email, cell phone, and then just tell us about your production, book in, and we're going to walk you through part of that, the framework of how to literally ask for the business in a cool way. Like, is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? Well, what happens if they say, hey, these top 5 buyer objections? I'm still shopping around. Really? You're shopping around? What are you shopping for? And then how do I systematically walk them from door 1 into door 2? And guess what? I won't keep them all, but I'll keep more. Hey, your rate seems high. I can completely understand you saying the rate seems high. Let me ask you this, based on what? And then what do I say after that that in a cool way begins to bring them back in? So listen, I won't convert them all, but I might convert 75% of them or 50%. Hey, I'm looking for the lowest rate. Totally get it. I understand how that puts you and your family in a great position. And what we're going to do is look, I'm going to walk you through the 3 simple rebuttal framework. We'll give it to you. How you acknowledge the objection, reframe the conversation, and lead to the next step. And so one of the things that I think is so important, and this is where I got tired of losing deals. And can I just tell you this? There are only 3 or 4 main objections. And let me ask you this. If I'm losing deals or have lost deals in the last 6 months, would it be good to walk through what it would take to be able to overcome that objection with the right rebuttal, a simple framework, which we're going to give you on the strategy call so that I can close even more of the transactions. I always think about this because what happens is we tend to be on a roller coaster. It's like, man, I got 4 deals, I lost 1. That's devastating. I got 10 deals, I lost 3. What if we didn't lose some of those deals? And what I'll tell you is this, oftentimes people are stuck because there's no consistent process to gain commitment. And we've got that process, and it's simply put inside of the 30-minute loan consultation. There's no structure, no proven plan, and no accountability. And what we want to do is walk you through it. And I've got to tell you, I was walking through, I don't know, was that something I needed to see?
Yeah, so exciting. And
Hey, mute that, Jen. I'm almost done. Hey, and listen, and here's what I want to do is I want to walk you through what taking action looks like. One of the things that we'd love to do is if you're not a member of the Mortgage Marketing Animals or you're not a part of my 8-week boot camp, we've had so much success with helping people build this framework. Chris Wright, and I just got to tell, goal was closing 8 loans a month. We were on a call yesterday and adding 2 loans a week to his pipeline, which I'm excited about because it's going to put him at more than 8 loans a month, which is the whole reason why he wanted to start taking massive action. Paulina just finished up one of our boot camps, and I got to tell you, she started closing when she joined. She was doing, I think, 0 loans a month. And just literally last month was closing, I think it was 6 or 7 transactions, and got 7 referrals over the weekend by taking action. Debbie Kraft, 3 contracts came in last week, and Ellen, 7 closings this month, 5 this week. Momentum is real. And I want to encourage you, when we go back to what's really holding you back, I always think about this. You're a great loan officer. You've got a great intuitiveness to have business. The challenge is tweaking little things like the 30-minute loan consultation. And when you can implement a simple process, and we've got layers of coaching, it's interesting. Whenever I was in 2011, when I sought out coaching, one of the things that was really interesting was this. I thought coaching was just people hollering at you, it's going to be terrible. And what I realized was coaching is more about helping you. It's not hype, it's structure. It's not about shame-based accountability. It's about goal-driven accountability. It's helping you close more of what you're already getting. It's not theory. It's a proven plan with accountability. And I hear people say all the time, Steve, I don't have time. Well, what if one extra closing a month gave you the margin to be able to be a part of a tribe and a community that helped you literally solve? Remember that good to great? It's the smallest tweaks that make the biggest difference. If you'll implement the 30-minute loan consultation, and you'll implement sales price, monthly payment, cash to close, answer questions, close for commitment, and we'll give you that framework on the call, and then have this simple rebuttal. Hey, I'm going to shop around. Completely understand shopping around. Let me ask you this. What are you shopping for? And then what do you say after that? Hey, your rate seems high. Man, totally get it. Let me ask you this. The rate seems high based on what? In a really cool way, being able to answer the 4 or 5 questions, that's all you're going to get. There's not many more past it. When I ask for commitment, it's either I'm all in or, hey, I'm going to have to shop. And what if we just took the next 30 days and just hone those in? How many deals would you save and how much money would you actually make? And I hear people say, I don't have time to do it. All it takes is one additional funding to take care of that. I've done coaching before. Anybody ever said that? And it didn't work. Maybe it wasn't the right system. And one of the things I want to encourage you, I always tell people this, just because you get a bad haircut doesn't mean you stop getting your haircut. You go to a different barber. And then some people may say, yeah, I'm okay where I'm at right now. I'm doing all right. Well, but here's the thing. Are you growing without working more hours? And are you in control of your business? And so what I want to encourage everybody is this. If you'll jump on a strategy call with us, the team, we got 25 spots. And again, drop in the chat. Hey, Steve, I booked a call. If you're a member, we're going to give you all of this. Just shoot an email to support at the Marketing Animals. We'll give it to you. Some of it we've just developed for this brand new webinar we're doing. But on the strategy call, here's what we're going to walk through. We're going to identify the conversion gap. You remember we talked about survive, stabilize, structure, scale, legacy. We're going to help you identify where you at. How do we get to the next phase? We're going to walk you through the 30-minute loan consultation. We're going to build your 90-day action plan, and then see if the 8-week boot camp that I run. I've got one starting next week, and we don't have any others planned for now, but is it a good fit? Maybe it is. Maybe it's our membership site, but is there a way you could link arms, or we could link arms with you to help you? And here's what we're going to give you. And this is going to be our gift. When you schedule the call, when you jump on the call, we're literally going to give you the top 5 buyer objections. We'll give you the video and the worksheets that I put together for everybody and the rebuttals on how to overcome them. We're going to give you the top 3 lead conversion scripts and the fast action 90-day plan. And so what I hear a lot of times, go to freedomplanningcall.com. I hear this, and we're going to open it up to Q&A. I know we've run over a couple of minutes. Thank you for the grace to do that. But hey, how do I structure the loan consultation? We're going to help you build that literally on the strategy call. The next one is, what are the top 5 buyer objections? I know I showed them to you and I verbally talked through it, but we'll actually give it to you in writing and video. So schedule your call. And then what if I don't have time to do it? And I'll tell you this, What if 1 to 4 hours a week could change the trajectory of your business? And here's the good news is some people say I got to get there faster and I'll commit more time. And some people say, hey, I just can do a couple hours a week or an hour a week. We'll help you build a plan that fits your schedule. I'll tell you this, your life changes when you link arms in coaching. And man, I got to tell you, if I knew what we know now 23 years ago, it would have been a game changer, even 15 years ago. Um, there are things, what I always tell people is this: coaching is an accelerant. That's all it is. You're going to be successful, you're going to get there. But we're just going to help you get there faster. And we would love the opportunity. If you thought today's class was valuable, inside the membership, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The same thing on the 8-week boot camp. So many of the guys that are in, I do a class usually every other month. We got one starting next week. And yesterday's call was like, I'm even thinking about Amish was on it. And he's like, dude, we're 6 weeks in. He's like, I've already got my first deal funding just from this activity. And it's like, it will change the trajectory of your business. And I would challenge you, just take a look inside of what we're doing at the Marketing Animals, because we'd absolutely love to partner with you. Hey, this is one that's big. I've tried coaching before. It didn't work. Chances are it just wasn't the right system or no system at all. And one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is we're a family, and we're not guessing what moves the needle. We track the data, and we know strategically and mathematically that if you do this number of calls and this number of conversations, and if we wake up our database by doing these high-tech, high-touch, low-time activities, you'll close 1 to 3 out of every 100 in your database. Like, everything we do is a process so that you're able to do it with ease in a really cool way and have financial freedom. And so one of the things is this: how do I know if it's a right fit? You're closing loans, but you want more consistency. It's built for you. And the reality is there's only about 25 spots. So drop in the chat if you've booked your time. I'd love to sell it. Great. Denise, great to have you. George, great to have you. Paula, great to have you booked. Walt, thank you for booking that, man. We're excited. And I got to tell you, I really believe if you take massive action today, you're going to see massive results. And so here's what I'm going to do. Robert, great job booking, man. Valerie, so glad to have you book into a call. I promise you this, it'll be a great use of your time. Hey, Greg, if you want to know more about the boot camp, do this for me. Book into a call and they'll walk you through step by step. But I will tell you this, the next, we don't have any more scheduled for the rest of the year. The next one, and it's only open to 18 people. And I think right now there were only a couple of spots left. But what I would tell you is if you want in, probably send a note, Jen, maybe to support at the Marketing Animals to maybe get there faster, but book a time and the team will walk you through it. It's been a game changer. We've been doing the boot camp since February of last year, and I keep doing it because of the lives that are being changed, the results that are happening. And so excited about the one that launches Tuesday, which is also when you do the boot camp, you have access to our all the suite of what we provide in the Marketing Animals. So not only is it the boot camp, but it's everything. And then for some of you say, hey, boot camp's not quite it. Right now, then jump into what we do in the Marketing Animals, because we have classes literally daily on tech and strategy and what's working. And so the resources for the few dollars you're going to spend are absolutely remarkable. So, all right. Hey, oh, cool. Greg said, I love Iron Tribe, by the way. Thank you, man. Iron Tribe's a great group. Hey, and let's do this. Anybody, I'm going to turn this off. Anybody got a question you can ask me? I'd love to help answer any questions. Even around the objections, you got a question. And I'll tell you the format, what I love about our boot camp, and the boot camp call runs about an hour to hour. Sometimes they'll run I always tell everybody block off an hour and a half. But when there's great questions, we never stop a week that we don't answer everybody's questions. So yesterday was so rich, man, with so many great questions. And this is kind of the format of how we'll do the Q&A. Somebody got a question, whether it's a rate objection, whether it's strategy, structure, anything about sales, I'd love to help you with it. Drop it in the chat or open your mic.
So, Steve, there was a question earlier when you were talking about going over payment but not rate. The question was, how do you do that? How do you go over the payment?
Who's the person that asked it? Who's the person that asked it? Can you unmute if they're still here?
Hold on, I've got to find it. Sorry.
Hey, and what I'll do is I'll unspotlight, and that way we'll all be, and I can see everybody. Um, let's see here. All right, anybody? Did the person who asked that question, can you unmute? No, so we don't know who asked it. Okay. Does somebody want to unmute? I'll walk you through it. Somebody willing to do it? Nobody. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, so here's what I'll just walk you through it. So nobody wants to role play with me on the hey, so Jen, you and I will do it. So Jen, so glad that you booked in. And by the way, hey, let me give everybody a quick and listen, when my timer's still running, when it hits, we got 5 minutes left. When it's done, I'm gonna wrap up. But since nobody's got more questions, but here's what I'll do. When when I'm doing my 30-minute loan consultation, I definitely want to validate the partner. So it's like, hey, Jen, so glad we're jumping into this 30-minute loan consultation. First off, oh, this is what I was going to tell you, the game changer. I literally had 4 people in the last 2 days say these exact words. When you schedule your 30-minute loan consultation, I'll tell you when I do mine, 2, 2:30, 3, 3:30. And then if I need a morning slot, I do 11 and 11:30, 6 a day. And I have a morning and I have an afternoon, and that's it. 99% of people book in then and they don't need any other hours. The problem is you're not leading them into the loan consultation slot. So I'll say the number one thing I want to encourage everybody is trust is built in small kept promises. Jen, I called somebody yesterday and he said, Steve, you are right on time. And you know what I said? I said, Jen, of course I'm on time, because what I know is trust is built in small kept promises. And if I call you on time, I'm going to do everything I say I'm going to do through the rest of the process. See, most of you guys, most of you guys would literally just kind of skirt it. That's an anchor. And so I say, of course I called you on time. I'm going to do everything that I say I do. One of the philosophies I believe in is trust is built in small kept promises. And this is how we start. Jen, I'm so glad to have our 30-minute loan consultation. First off, I want to say thank Oscar for referring us together. I mean, I got to tell you, I love Oscar, one of the best agents in the city of Houston. If I were buying, that's absolutely who I would use. And so just excited to work with both of you guys on this. Hey, in our 30-minute loan consultation, here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through the sales price. Probably the biggest questions that you have is, how much house can I buy? So I'm going to walk through the sales price. Another question is, how much will it cost me every single month? And that's what I call monthly payment. The third thing is, how much cash do I need to buy the house? And I call that cash to close. So we're going to walk through sales price, monthly payment, cash to close, and then I'm going to help you answer any and all questions that you have. Hey, what questions do you have that I can answer? Listen to this, everybody, the tee up, that I can answer so that you'll be able to say, hey, that was a great use of my time. Mm-hmm. And they give me their questions, and then I roll right back up to the top. Let's start with sales price. And then when I get to monthly payment, here's how I do it. So Jen, you said the house you were looking at, real solution. This really just happened with somebody the other day. You're looking in the 5 to 550 range. Let me ask you this. So here's exactly how we do it, everybody. Let me ask you this, Jen. You said your goal for total monthly payment was about 33,000 to 3,800 kind of max. If the house was just unbelievable, what's the top range? Like, what's the max you'd be willing to spend? And you know what? They'll say, maybe 4, but that's really pushing it. Okay, totally cool. So let's do this. And what I'll do is literally grab that property and start running the numbers. And I'll say, hey, so we looked at that property, or even if I don't have an address, 550. Hey, well, here's the good news. And I tell people this all the time. Jared, it's great to see you, by the way. Hey, I tell people this all the time. The documents and data tell us the plan. So let's just see if a 550 purchase price will get you at 3,700 to 4,000 a month. And we run the numbers. Guys, do y'all know where a 550 lands? It's like $4,800, $5,000, right? Everybody knows that. In Texas, it is. Our property taxes are high. So I already know it's not going to work, but I don't tell them it's not going to work. I just say, let's see what the data tells us. And then I'll say, hey, Jen, that 550, dude, it's beautiful. And listen, you're well qualified. You could afford it. But if your target is 4,000 or less, that $550,000 home with 5% down puts you at a payment of right at $4,800. How does that feel? So I didn't tell them what they could or couldn't have. I just said, how does that feel? And Jen, you know what they're going to say? Oh man, that's high. And I validate them. Listen, Jen, you're well qualified. You could afford because I don't ever want them to feel like they're not worth it, not worthy. Hey, you could afford, and I tell them all the time, you're well qualified. So let me ask you this. Are you open to looking at a sales price that gets us at $3,700 to $3,800, $4,000? And you know what the answer is? Yes. And you know what they'll land at? $400 to $450. I already know it. I've done it enough to know it's $400 to $450, but I'm not going to tell them no, because if I tell them no, what are they already hearing from me? No. I want to tell them yes. And I want to lead them to their goal, because it's their goal that determines the monthly payment. So I don't even tell them the rate. I've already run it. I've already set it up. I've already got the fees in the file, or a team member did, actually, a pre-approval specialist. So when I jump in, I just say, it's at 6.25% today on an FHA loan, or 5.99, or 6.5, whatever it is. And I don't even tell them the rate. I just say, hey, at a 450, that puts us right around $3,900. Now, the taxes and insurance may vary, but that's a pretty good estimate. How's that feel? Oh man, that's the right range. So you know what they'll typically say? So I probably need to stay in the 400 to 450. Absolutely. And here's the good news. Once you identify that house, we'll sharpen it based on HOA, taxes, insurance. But for right now, we're looking in that 400 to 450 range, 100%. All right, let's talk about cash to close. So you see that, Jen? I never even said the rate. I just jumped right in. So, hey, about $3,800, $4,000 a month. That's right in our range. I would 100% agree. That's perfect. Hey, let's talk about cash. I saw your bank statement. You got $50,000. And listen, validate this. Hey, Jen, a lot of people think they got to put a ton of money down. Let me tell you my stance. Mortgage interest most of the time is tax deductible. And I'm a bigger fan of preserve cash than pay extra money to get a slightly lower rate or all that stuff that doesn't, in my opinion, I think preserving cash is important. What are your thoughts? And you know what most people say? Dude, I want to save cash. And I would agree. So what I just did was validate. You don't have to put 20% down. You don't have to put 10% down. And you know what people's biggest fear is when they put less money down? Come on, somebody tell me.
The payment's going to be too high.
Well, no, emotionally, what's their fear? They're going to think I'm not qualified. I'm a schmuck. I don't have much money. I haven't done a great job on my finances. Have y'all ever had somebody kind of feel that way? When their feeling goes negative, I'm losing. So I always validate and I say, Jen, you've done such a great job. If they got 30,000 and they need 20 to buy a house, I'll say, Jen, you've done such a great job saving. Why? They have. It may not be $1 million in the bank, but they've been diligent, right? So you always validate that. That's another part of sales where it's like, hey, you've done such a great job. And listen, most people think you got to use it all to get in a home. Are you open to a strategy of us preserving cash? And you know what? Almost all of them say, yes. Well, now it's not about rate. It's about preservation, strategy, cash.
Right.
And then now what I'll do is I'll just go in and say, all right, Jen, so, hey, the way we've got it structured is, with a 640 credit score, listen, bro, and guys, I'm just talking, like if it's somebody I'm more relational with, I'll say, hey, bro, or, if it's a doctor, I try to match who they are. And I'll just say, Jen, with the 640 credit, a lot of times people ask, what's the best category? It's actually 780. But here's the great news. You've done a great job on your credit. And at a 640, the best structure is going to be an FHA loan, which actually has a better product for you, and it's going to preserve cash. And so and I'll literally just start walking them through cash to close. Everybody got that? Did I ever say rate? No. Then at the end, I'm going to answer their questions. And guess what I'm going to ask, Brad? Is there anything that will prevent me from being your lender? But listen, I've made them feel good about themselves. I walked them through a clear, very, very simple process. I only go through 4 things: sales price, monthly payment, cash to close, answer questions, close for commitment. And then at the end, they've said yes so many times that they're like, why would I shop? This dude is great. He's answered all my questions. And then listen, I still get shoppers. So what? At the end, whenever I say, is there anything to prevent me from being your lender? They don't commit. We just literally step back and say, great. Hey, totally understand. When you find the lowest lender, send it to me. I'll tell you whether we can meet or beat it. And I go into more inside of the marketing animals in our boot camp. There's a lot more to it. But today, just implement the framework, implement the ask, and get the resources. Go to freedomplanningcall.com if you're not a member,
Andy.
and start working on it. So, okay.
Hey,
All right.
actually, Denise had one little question here.
Go for
Denise
it.
Romano, do we have time for her?
Yeah, go for it. One last question.
Denise, are you here still? She is.
Ask it.
Question is, hard to tell a rate shopper that they're being told a low rate because the person knows they're shopping. What's a good response to that?
Denise,
You know, like
if you'll unmute for me, Denise. I'd love for you to turn on your video too, if you would. I'll answer your question. Come on.
I see her on here.
Ask the question again, Jen.
So someone comes to you and they've seen a really good rate out there, like those teaser rates. How
Sure.
do you let the person know, hey, that's just
I love it.
that's a trap, basically.
Hey, so Jen, tell me, I'm going to say, is there anything that would prevent me from being your lender? And you say, hey, Steve, you know, your rate sounds high based on, and tell me whatever you want to tell me. Okay. Hey, Jen, it's been a great 30-minute, again, affirm 30-minute loan consultation. May I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Hey, is there anything at this point that would prevent me from being your lender?
Well, you know, I did see a rate at ABC Credit Union that looked really, really good.
Oh, I love it. Hey, and so your question right now is you've seen a lower rate somewhere else,
Right.
which makes it really attractive. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. Did you apply for the loan with them? Listen to me, everybody. Did you complete the loan application? Did you upload documents? And listen to this last one. Did you complete a 30-minute loan consultation? Listen, everybody, no one else does 30-minute loan consultations. And you know what she's going to tell me? What are you going to tell me, Jen?
No, I didn't.
So, wow. Okay. So what you saw was an advertisement about a low rate, but you've not provided any information.
Correct.
Jen, are you looking for a gimmick or a real clear plan?
Well, I want a real clear plan, but I like that low rate too.
Yeah, and here's the good news is we've got very competitive rates, but Jen, do you know what happens is there's more than 8 factors that make up interest rate, and that's why we went through the complete loan application and documentation. And here's the other thing is most advertised rates have 2.5 points baked into them. That's why the rates are so low. And Jen, what we find is, are you aware that the lowest rate typically carries the highest cost?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
And see, guys, here's what happens is now I can walk her through, hey, listen, let's do this. Let me give you some examples of what that would look like. And when we talked earlier, you said that cash up front was more important. So and so that's where I would just take it different places. But did y'all hear that strategy? And that's one of the 5 scripts we'll give you. Most people are not aware that the lowest rate typically carries the highest cost. Are you open to my professional opinion? And here's the deal. They're on the call with you. So you remember how that somebody walked into the market, Jen walked in saying, hey, you know, I saw a lower rate somewhere. You know, all she's saying is she walked into my department store and said, hey, Steve, I'm just looking. And all I need is that one step forward, because if I answer her question well, guess what she won't do? She won't go shop, because she felt like I answered the question enough for her to feel comfortable with what we're looking at in our rate range. Does that make sense, everybody? All right. It's a process. So I hope that helped. We are way past our time. Thank you, everybody. All my dear friends. I see everybody here. So good to see you, Jared. I saw your dad. Awesome to see him. Brad, good to see you. Margot, Diana, April.
Are you going to be up in Michigan for the boot camp?
I won't. No, I'm not going to be in Michigan. You guys have a good time on that
one, though.
See ya. No. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. See you.
Bye, everybody.